Hey everyone, it's Ken from Reynolds Piano, and this is just a little tutorial that I put together for a song called Still Rolling Stones by Lauren Daigle. And just so you know, it's in the same key as she sings it on the recording, which is E minor. You can find sheet music, obviously, on the web, but this particular video, I'm going to go a lot more in depth, so I think you'll really learn a lot by going through this with me. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's get started with the introduction. All right. So on the intro, what is played is it's kind of like just an arpeggio that starts low and moves its way high, and it's just a pattern of notes. It's just E flat, G, A, D. Then with your right hand, E flat, G, A, D. Kind of sounds a little bit ugly, but once we put the B in the bass, it's going to sound really nice. So what you do, I'll just kind of do it in slow motion. You play those two arpeggios, and then you take your left hand and play B in the bass, and then just do what I've heard many people call a trash can. So do a little trash can like this. All right, and so what it will sound like all together is this. In the first verse, your right hand plays the chords just like block chords. Okay, so kind of like this. Okay, and in your left hand, you play eighth notes. That sounds like this. Okay, now let me show you what they sound like together, and I will play the first verse for you. On the chorus, probably the biggest thing to look out for is the four chords that get repeated a couple times actually throughout the chorus. And what makes them a little bit different is that every other chord is off the beat. So the first chord's E minor, all right, then the C major 7 is off the beat, then D and the B minor 7 is off the beat. So you can hear, okay? And if you're having trouble feeling that, then what you can do is you actually can just count and kind of count the ands out. And I'll show you what I mean. You can go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so you see that every other chord falls on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Notice also that I stopped doing the eighths in the bass. Okay, if you're playing this totally like by yourself, then you probably want to keep going with the eighth notes in the bass. However, if you're with a group, you probably don't need to play the eighth notes for the first part of the chorus, okay? But you'll see for the second part of the chorus, it kind of makes sense to start those eighth notes again, okay? So I'm going to show you the chorus and just show you everything we just talked about. After the chorus, the song goes back to the second verse and then the chorus. And really, the piano parts are just about the same. So it's really not worth our time to go back and to work on the second verse and the chorus. So what I'd like to do is now move ahead to just a little small 2-measure instrumental that takes place right before the bridge. And what's important about it especially is it's a place of contrast in the music. So you're going along, as we just discussed, in the chorus, right? And you're doing your left hand eighths and your block chords in the right hand, and then all of a sudden, almost like out of nowhere, comes this more sustained and flowing E minor and E minor 2 chords, okay? And really what I do is for the first measure, I just kind of just stay down here and play an E minor. And then for the second half, the second measure, I'm just outlining an E minor 2, okay? So it would sound like this. The bridge continues in the same style that we changed to just in the last couple of measures. So as you'll see, basically what happens is the chords are just outlines, and you kind of just go up and back down, and I'll show you exactly how. All right, and one of the things to notice too is that E minor, you have E minor, and then you have D4. Now, whenever you have a 4, that means you need to add the note that is 4 up from the root of that chord. So in the case of a D4, you would count up from D, and you would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that means that it's a D with a G in it, okay? And that gets a little tricky, so I want to show you exactly what I'm going to do there. As I arpeggiate it up, come back down, I'm going to kind of use it as a passing tone, all right? And that gets the 4 in there, all right? And then, of course, the C is a C add 2, all right? So the 2 of C is D, all right? Okay? And so this is how it goes. The second time through the bridge is very much like the first time. It's the same chord progression, and really the only difference is that you just extend the arpeggios a little bit higher. And I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm doing on each one of the chords is I'm in the left hand, I'm playing root, fifth, and then the root again, all right? And then 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then just back down. Okay, and it doesn't have to be exactly those notes, but that's just the idea. You want to arpeggio up and then arpeggio back down. So this is what it would sound like on each one of the chords. So after the second time through the bridge, the song goes back to the chorus again, and it's really just the same progression that you played the first 2 choruses, but what I would suggest is that you just make it a little bit bigger. By that I mean, instead of playing 3-note chords, play 4-note, double the root, double the fifth. Use some inversions and move around a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. One of the last sections is the tag. And the tag is that part at the end of the third chorus where she continues to sing the line, "You're still rolling stones." And I'm just going to play it real slow for you. It's a similar progression to what we've been playing, but the bass notes are kind of quick. So I just want to show you one note, one chord at a time. All right. So you have E minor, and then D, then C major 7, and then each one of these bass notes are one beat apiece. So you're just going to hold your right hand down, okay, let me show you that again. So the descending notes are D sharp, B, G, F sharp, E. Okay? All right, so let me play it for you now up to speed. And the last section of this song is actually a piano instrumental, which, of course, as a piano player, I think is a great idea. And this is how it goes.